So I've been dabbling a little bit in composition again, thanks to you. Give me the bug again for that.
That's right.
Yeah.
And like I
Um,
said, it was an amazing track.
no. Like I said, I want to work on it a bit more. So maybe next month it'll be even better. But I've been
Nice.
working on something that I've had in my mind for a while now. So I love to take songs and completely mess with them. This isn't like a cover or copy. This is like full on arrangement. Like lucky if you can recognize the original song amongst it. And I've got one.
Okay,
This is
that's
from a video
interesting.
game.
Okay.
We can kind of do name that game. It's going to be the trippiest one ever. Um,
Okay.
Let me just change the audio so you can hear it too. So you won't be able to hear me talking, but I'll be
Sure.
able to hear you. And feel free to guess. I should turn out the volume as
Okay.
well, actually.
Okay.
Okay. So from there, it goes like, yeah, completely sideways, jazz style. But can you guess what it is? It's like the very faintest bit that you might be able to guess.
Okay. Okay. Yeah, I have no idea.
So that
No
intro
idea.
bit is just jazz intro for the sake of jazz intro. The chorus bit has like bears a slight resemblance to the original song. It's from the Hunt Showdown theme. I can't remember the exact name of the song. It's like
No
stand up dead
way.
men, something like that. Yes, it's that that bit there.
Oh my.
I've turned that
Oh
into a
my
jazz
god.
arrangement.
Oh my god. Tempest Rising.
So this one was marked as unsupported on Steam Deck. I myself and a lot of other
Oh
people seem
boy.
to not have had issues on it.
Oh,
Yeah,
okay.
uh, unless I'm mistaken. Like I had to dump all the settings, mind you, but out of
Sure.
the box
Yeah,
it
of course.
worked, which I did not expect. And
Okay.
in fact, I'm going to go a bit off tangent, well, on a tangent here, but there's a
Go for it.
lot of unsupported games in here, or ones that like I wouldn't have expected to run on Steam Deck. But one game that required like severe tinkering, and apart from that, it all ran. But I can't help but feel like that's kind of an attack from Humble since I stopped doing these. It's like, well, if you know the main Steam Deck portion representative for this is gone, and then stuff them. Let's just go all PC all the way in.
We're
So
not giving, yeah, we're not giving them anything.
no, but well, obviously that wasn't their intention. But I'm glad I was able to get all the games working because there've been some months where I've been able to get one. So yeah, like I said, going completely on a tangent there, but yeah, I think your video touched on it well. They've redone the old Command and Conquer series. Well,
Hmm.
it's the spiritual successor of that.
Yeah. Yes, exactly.
Down to the point where I was like watching some videos as well in preparation for this talk, and one person
Hmm.
like picked out the exact Command and Conquer entry that it was, and like, yeah, it is clearly this game just done for a modern machine, basically.
Okay.
So yeah, I said in my comment to you, like, this is probably the first time we've landed more or less exactly on the same for
Yeah,
each game. I
yeah.
don't know how riveting the discussions will get,
That's
but
what
yeah.
I was, yeah, I was wondering, we're just gonna be like, yep, that sounds right.
I want to hear about your experience because I mean, I played like you. It was a lot of Age of Empires 2 specifically. I did do
Yeah.
like a bit of StarCraft single player, like
Hmm.
well after it was past its prime, but that was pretty
Yeah,
much it.
yeah.
Whereas you were much more into RTS than me, so I'd love to hear all
Well,
that
you
you have
know
to sell
what?
us?
Actually, most of my RTS was Age of Empires 1 as a kid. And growing up, like my dad never bought. Well, you know what? I take that back. I played a lot of Age of Mythology.
Okay.
Because my dad got that game somehow from someone somewhere,
Gotcha.
you
Gotcha.
know.
Say no more.
Um, and then outside of that, my only experience with any other RTSs, or a lot of games, honestly, was just either by reading about them in PC Gamer or by playing demos. So like I played through like the demo of like Age of Empires 2
Okay.
so much, which was basically just like the Scottish like learn to play campaign and then
Okay.
one random map. Um and the computer's built like exactly the same way every time you played that random
Yeah.
map, but I played it to death. Um, yeah, so that was basically my experience. It wasn't really until I was older that I played some more, and I think that's part of the reason why I'm very much like um I like more like historical strategy versus anything else.
Yeah.
Now StarCraft though, that was one that I actually did play. I played that around high school, I think, because a
Okay.
friend of mine burned me a copy,
Yeah.
and so I did play that, but I was never good at it. Like I think I beat the Terran campaign, and then I got maybe like midway through the Zerg campaign, and then I just stopped. And I
That's
was like
decent though.
absolutely no good at playing like the random maps. So, but yeah, like as far as Tempest Rising goes, I didn't really have any experience at all with the Command and Conquer series. Like I knew that friends, played it and they talked about it and stuff, but I had absolutely no interest, because of Age of Empires. Um, but I think my first experience with Command and Conquer was like the Command and Conquer remaster that we got in Humble. I don't know how long ago it was now, but we got it some time ago now. I can't remember if it was before you had started doing your reviews or not. I don't remember anymore. Um but yeah, so that was the only time I ever touched Command and Conquer, and I gotta say I wasn't really that
Yeah.
impressed with
Yeah.
it
Fair.
because it was pretty dated, even with the remaster glow up. Like it didn't have like simple things like attack move and stuff like that.
Yeah.
That any modern RTS now has.
Yeah.
Um, so in comparison to that, Tempest Rising was like a huge step up from what I played of that remaster. Um like I don't know, like I said in my review, like RTSs have like a hard time, I think, kind of like piquing my interest. I think it's also partially because I don't really feel like there's that many like really big RTSs that get made these days
Yeah, that's true. Yeah.
anymore.
The last big one I can
Um
think of is like StarCraft 2. That's going back a long way now.
Yeah, that's quite a bit of time ago. Yeah,
Yeah.
from like a big studio. Yeah,
Yeah.
I'd say. You know what? You know what? I guess we could maybe say make an argument for like Company of Heroes 3.
Okay, yeah.
That
Yeah.
released maybe what, a year or two ago,
Yeah.
maybe longer, I don't know, but um that's not quite the same style though of
No,
what this
definitely not.
is.
Definitely not.
So, but yeah, I mean, yeah, StarCraft 2, that's the one that comes to my mind
Yeah.
too. Like I know that there's been like indie RTS games
Sure.
that been made and have done well,
Yeah.
but yeah, I mean, honestly, Tempest Rising is probably one of the more like higher profile, like, you know, I don't know what type of studio, that maybe double A studio. I don't think it was made by triple A studio.
I don't think so.
But but yeah, for what I played, it seems quite solid. It seems like Command and Conquer fans who love that sort of like um that sort of kind of campy sort of story.
Yeah.
Um it's got that. Yeah, so but outside of that, as far as the gameplay goes, I think I kind of like touched on it in the review. It's going to be kind of hard, like just only putting an hour into the game to really know like how well it really
Oh,
is.
for an
But I
RTS?
didn't,
Yeah.
yeah, I didn't get any red flags though.
Yeah. Oh, that's
So
good. Yeah.
yeah, yeah, yeah. Now, what I want to know is I know we've talked about this before, probably with other games, but um, RTS on the deck, how exactly does that work?
Back to this argument, hey? It
Yeah, pretty
it works
much.
fine. It works okay. I've had the most success with just because you mentioned it, the Company of Heroes series, and also
Okay.
the that's the Warhammer 40k one, like Battle Forge or something like that. But literally made by the same company. It was just Warhammer 40k. And that's
Okay.
because it's more minimalistic. You have just like one. Well, early on you only have like 1 or 2 units, then it expands out to four. And because of that, it's very manageable and it feels fantastic on the deck. As it expands
Okay.
larger, um, if it's a strategy game where you can kind of pause it, that kind of thing, you're fine. Like it's going to take longer for some of the inputs on the deck. But
Hmm.
because you've got that to offset it, it's fine. But of course, it's not going to work for a game like Tempest Rising because it's designed with PvP in mind. You can't pause the game, and so
Exactly. Yeah.
that's where it can get a bit tricky. But the best way to explain it is like using a laptop touchpad because you can just use the touchpad as mouse, and it works.
Okay.
It works quite well. But it's the same thing. So I'm sure you've had that friend back in high school who played RTSs on the laptop using the touchpad because that's all they had, and they would have said, "Yeah, this
Right. Right.
works, but I'd rather have a mouse to do it." And that's essentially the experience when you do that full-on
Same thing.
RTS on the deck.
Okay. Yeah. Yeah. I've tried to play an RTS with a laptop trackpad
Mm.
before, and I immediately turned the game off.
So that answers
So
that question then.
yeah, pretty much. Pretty much. Okay. One other thing I was wondering is, does the deck allow you to do like control groups?
Yeah, it definitely does.
Oh, okay,
So it
cool.
uses Steam input. It utilizes it really well, and you can set up Steam input to a whole bunch of stuff. You could put in alternate commands, for example. You can do when I press this button, do all these things at the same time. Not really
Oh,
like
okay.
macro input, but it essentially is.
Right,
Yeah,
right.
it's
Okay.
so for that, and that's where I would say if you're going to do it on like that touchpad kind of platform, then my argument would be made that Steam Deck is best for it because it has all these additional buttons to allow you to do stuff like that.
Okay. Yeah, I just was like, so maybe about couple months ago now, my wife and I were really big on playing Age of Empires 4.
Hmm.
And I was trying to get like a lot better than what I was, which admittedly is a low bar. Like so I it's not like I'm amazing at the game or anything, but I started like getting more into trying to use like hotkeys and
Hmm.
control
Hmm.
groups and things like that. And yeah, that's why I was wondering like how does the deck do all that stuff. But if it
Yeah,
can do that, I think that does make it at least a bit more viable. Maybe not against like PvP,
no,
but
definitely not.
or anything like that. But at the very least, I'm sure you could get through the campaign just fine.
Yeah, it might be a like slightly more challenging than a regular mouse and keyboard setup, but
Right.
at least in my opinion, it should be doable.
Okay.
Chants of Sennaar.
This was one that, I mean, well, you and I are the same as far as puzzle games go. Um, we don't like them,
Nope.
essentially.
That sums it up really well. We don't like them. That like narrative heavy. If it's
Right,
yeah,
right,
like this style of
right, right,
narrative heavy, mind you.
right. Um, but I did enjoy my time playing this. Like I said, I think that maybe it would get to a point to where it would be maybe too overwhelming for me. I
Hmm.
don't know. Um, but I thought it was a pretty cool idea,
Hmm.
though.
Yeah.
Um, oh, go on.
No,
What
no,
were you
you
gonna
go,
say?
you go.
I was just gonna say that like I thought it was just so clever with trying to sort of parse this language. And somebody in one of my like one of the commenters had said that like with the other languages like you kind of have to like learn the grammar syntax as well.
Mm.
Like if you're trying to translate like word for word, it's not going to make any sense. And I was just thinking like, wow, that's pretty neat because that's pretty much just like real languages. Like
Mm.
I obviously Japanese being the language that I'm trying to
Mm,
learn, and that obviously you already know, so you know what I'm talking about.
yeah.
But basically, like the Japanese sentence structure, even like with the verbs at the end and stuff like
Yeah.
that, in contrast to English, yeah, you wouldn't be able to literally one-to-one translate. Otherwise, it wouldn't make any sense.
Yeah.
So I was like, the fact that they touched on that in this game is pretty neat. Um, yeah, when I first started playing, my initial reaction when when it brought up the image of like the door and then like open and close or whatever,
Hmm.
I was like, because I couldn't figure it out like the first couple tries, and then I was like, all right, well, I'm not gonna do this, and I'm just gonna move on, and then I'll go back to this later. But it wouldn't let me until
Hmm.
I actually completed those pages. I was like, oh great, I'm gonna be stuck on this very
Yeah.
first thing, and I just started this game. Ugh. But I figured it out, and then just like, it makes it really easy to like, I think the idea of like putting in your own thoughts of what you think something is,
Hmm.
and then getting further context clues, just yeah, I understand why there were so many comments
Hmm.
on my video basically being like, "Oh, this was worth the bundle," or "Oh, this was a masterpiece," and blah blah blah.
Yeah. Yeah, it's. I do agree. It's a very cool concept. Like, especially from someone who studied linguistics, it's fantastic. I think they've gone to that level of effort. And in fact, this one, like, it kind of inspired me to look up other games that did similar stuff. And there's a few out there as well, which
Okay.
like a really old school RPG, I think was one of them. I don't remember the name, but there was pretty much an entire language, and you could interact with these creatures to try and work out the language and have like a more in-depth interaction with the creature there. Or of course, because it's an RPG, you could just skip that and go, that's annoying, and not go into it. And so the devs have obviously put a lot of time into something that a lot of players might not actually get involved in. That's one example.
Right, right.
There are other ones as well where it's more focused on the language learning. Not like this, but more, um, I would say more like point and click style.
Okay.
But it's all on the player to pick up the different meanings. So there's definitely a market for it because a lot of people, in fact, I mean, again, this is Reddit, so these are people who are going out to look for these types of games, and so it's kind of a
Mhm.
self-selection bias. But there's definitely a lot of people who really appreciate that style of game where you've got these people who've gone and made games out of just these linguistic and language learning concepts on artificial languages, essentially,
Yeah,
which
yeah,
I
yeah.
respect a lot. But as a gamer, as a busy gamer with now even less time to game and two small kids and life just getting busier and busier, I want that quick fix of action, get in there, have a new experience and get out, and not go through like trying to. I mean, it's probably why I'm not so into puzzle games these days. It's just not a way for me to relax and unwind and just switch my brain off.
Oh, I completely understand and pretty much agree. Pretty much agree with that. Yeah, you want something that's kind of gonna give you the dopamine fix a little
Hmm.
bit quicker
Hmm.
than a puzzle game. Because like when you play games like that, there are going to be instances when you sit down for your gaming session and then you get done and you achieved absolutely nothing.
Yeah. Yep. Guarantee it's
And
gonna
that
happen.
just doesn't that feels like you wasted your time when you could have
Yeah.
been spent, like, playing something else,
Yep.
in the limited time that you have during the day.
Yep.
Um, yeah, 100% get that. Um, I guess also, like you mentioned, like, taking from, like, real world, like, linguistic concepts and stuff
Hmm.
like that. It it did sort of like I know that it's a game and stuff, but a part of me was also thinking on like just like how good it is for like contextual learning and stuff like that.
Hmm.
But I couldn't help but like think about like just the fact that I'm trying to learn Japanese, and it's like I I already do enough of this
Yeah.
during in my day
Yep.
of studying. Then do I really want to go and do that more
Yep.
in a video game? I don't know that I really do.
Yeah.
Um, especially when it's for a fictional language, right?
Yeah.
Like I have a hard enough time as is just trying to master this, this one language, and I
Yeah.
don't I don't have time to put to fake languages, right?
So let's just say Klingon's low on the list then for you.
Oh yeah. Yeah. It's funny that you mentioned that. I think I did run through back when I was like fiddling around with the
Is it Duolingo?
Duolingo,
Yeah,
like,
yeah.
yeah, ages ago. Like, I think anybody who's kind of like nerdy like that probably
Yeah,
clicked on Klingon to learn at least a couple words,
yeah.
and I have since forgotten it because of course I would. Like I never use any of those
Oh
words.
wait, you're saying you
So
don't get any opportunities to use Klingon in everyday life?
no. It's it's funny that we're talking about this because
Yeah.
it reminded me of an article I read some time ago where a father
I know the
had
one. Yes.
yeah,
And he taught
only
his
spoke to
son.
their kid in Klingon.
Yes. So that got really interesting because for stuff like turn the lights off, there's obviously nothing like that in Klingon. It never comes up. And so
Right.
the way they worked out what it was for them was kill the lights, basically.
Oh, okay.
Yeah.
Okay. So it's like I'm trying to think of like the equivalent to like Spanglish or something. It was like Klingon-lish.
Yeah.
Klinglish?
Yeah.
Klinglish?
I guess.
Yeah, but yeah, I guess so. I guess those are my thoughts.
Hmm.
It's like yeah, it's like it's really clever. Actually, it's actually kind of nice to hear that there are other games that sort of like take that concept because that was actually something for like a game idea I had
Hmm.
was a to make one of these days, who knows when, was the concept would involve like somebody crash landing on a planet and then
Hmm.
having to interact with like in like the indigenous intelligent species
Hmm.
there. And I wanted to make it to where yeah, at first like they'd have to like, use things contextually until they
Hmm.
could like learn how to speak and things like that. But I was like thinking like how could you make that fun though
Mm.
to where it wouldn't be frustrating for the player. And I don't think I'd want to go the puzzle route so
No.
much cuz that's not a game that I would really want to make, but yeah, it'd be interesting to see how other games kind of tackle that. Like the
Yeah.
only one that came to my mind, well, I guess there was a few. Well, one other was this game that we actually received was Heaven's Vault. We
Okay.
received it some years back, but I can't even really remember it that well. But I know it had something to deal with language learning. But the other one that pops in my mind is No Man's Sky. But
Hmm.
that's literally just interact with an obelisk or like talk to an individual, and then like you guess at what the word might be and see what the
Yeah.
reaction is,
Yeah.
and then you learn that one word.
Yeah.
And to me, I was like, I don't. It's that's not really quite how language learning works.
No. No.
So I didn't really like their approach to that. But yeah, it would be interesting to see how other games tackle that. Sworn.
Just by coincidence, I talked about this a month ago, 2 months ago.
Yeah, it wasn't that long ago. Yeah,
Yeah.
I didn't even realize it at first until like I started playing, and then it was like, oh yeah, King Arthur went crazy, and I was like,
Wait a
wait a minute.
second.
Wait, I'm pretty sure Deck was telling me
I
about
could have
this.
sworn Dick was talking about this, but yeah. No, for the same reasons that I said last time, why I liked this more than the Wizard School 2, or whatever the actual name is. Um, yeah, it's got a much cooler concept to it. I think the
Yeah.
way it handles, I forgot what they're called, the aspects or the different upgrade paths you can get. I think that's a lot better, even though
Okay.
it's a very similar way of doing it.
Yeah. Yeah.
Yeah. Um, I did feel like theirs, they went more like, this way of explaining it. It felt like they were going for more like a Diablo 2 approach to theirs in terms of the maps. Because it felt like
Okay.
every level was a much larger one, whereas this is more like an arena style one usually. Sometimes you have
Yeah.
like the obstacle course kind of one, and you have,
Oh, right, right,
yeah,
right. I know yes, yeah, I
yeah.
know what you mean. Yeah, yeah, you're absolutely right. Yes.
Whether that was better in theirs, or I think it's just a different way. I don't think in that aspect, I don't think either one was better or worse. But
Right.
overall, I just think this one ticks so many more of the boxes for me that yeah, there's no comparison. I think you said it was very similar to Hades, And I think that's inevitable. There's going to be a lot of parallels to that because it is that isometric, or rather, like, yeah, I guess it is isometric, isn't it? That like
Right.
action feels very slick in the movements as well. And it's obviously very clearly a roguelite because you're going to die a lot and have to get back up.
The abilities are like embodied by some sort of powerful, being
Yeah,
similar to like Hades. Yeah.
yep, and it's based on mythology as well. Yeah,
Yeah. Yeah.
yeah.
Yeah.
There's definitely, without a doubt, a lot of similarities. But I think there's enough to separate it. At least that's the way I felt when I played it. And I must have put in about 8 hours at least. I think
Okay.
probably exactly a year ago, actually.
Okay. Okay. Yeah. Yeah, I mentioned the whole Hades thing, mainly because last time when I talked about Wizard of Legends 2, and I was like, oh yeah, I had, it was like fun to play this, but it was just kind of okay. Well, I had a lot of people who were basically like, oh yeah, it's like a shameless like Hades clone and blah blah blah. So I was like, I wanted to just like preempt that, like,
Yeah,
yeah, I know that it probably was inspired by Hades, but regardless. I thought it was fun, but just kind of okay.
yeah.
But no, yeah, definitely the setting, theme, whatever of it is like we were talking about with Wizard of Legend 2, that it was just bland and
Yeah,
uninspired. Um, like even the name, the name,
yeah.
yeah, it just was meh. But yeah, this one was definitely more
Mm.
interesting. Um, I think like a dark Arthurian tale is pretty cool.
Yeah. Where King Arthur's like corrupt and the bad guy now? Yeah, real cool.
Yeah, yeah, yeah. I only I only played it just basically that hour or so, and I
Hmm.
got up to one of the knights, which was Gawain,
Yep, yep.
and I thought that the design was pretty cool. He was all kind of like monstrous looking and everything. So it was like, yeah, that'd be kind of neat to see how they depict the other knights of the Round Table
Mm,
when you eventually get that far and fight them. Um, and as far as pacing goes, I don't think it was so bad
mm,
actually. Like I unlocked another character to play as in that first hour, which I feel like some roguelites,
hmm.
like, they hold that stuff, like, close to the chest, and they don't
Yeah,
wanna, like, give up that, like, they want you to grind run after run after run,
yeah,
to get that stuff, and because, that's always, like, my complaint is,
yep,
like, all like, you get so many gameplay options that are just hidden behind, yeah, basically locked doors.
yeah.
Um so I was kind of happy about that because like with the first character they gave you like you unlock another weapon pretty soon on. I think I had access to unlock another spell, but I didn't end up doing that. Instead
Okay.
I unlocked the spell on the second character,
Hmm.
who I liked playing as more because she was like her heavy attack was just like a lightning blast in a
Yeah,
row or
yep.
something like in a line. Um yeah, I'm thinking about it. I don't know. Like, I know that Wizard of Legend 2 is so similar, but maybe it's just because like I'm biased because I liked a lot of other aspects of Sworn, but I
Yeah,
I felt like the combat was almost better than than Wizard of Legend 2. But maybe that's just being biased.
yeah. Well, I feel the same way, but I also don't know whether that's me having played a lot more of Sworn
Sworn,
than Wizard of
yeah,
Legend 2.
yeah.
But I certainly did feel the same way. Yeah, you touched on the unlock not
Hmm.
being like so. What's the best word? Um,
Stingy,
Stingy. That is good. I like
yeah.
that. Not being so stingy in terms of how readily it gives you access to more of the stuff. And I think it's done really
Mhm.
well. So of course there is a little bit of you have to do multiple runs to get stuff, sure. But
Yeah,
you get access to all the characters pretty quickly. The big thing is it's best to think of because you get the different credits to use to buy different weapons and then also upgrades within the various trees as well. And I think that's the best
right.
way of doing it. You get access to this to whatever stuff you want pretty early on, and then you have to choose like how far deep you go into those specializations. And so it's
Yeah,
a really good way of doing
yeah.
it. I think it's solved the roguelike problem.
No, yeah, you're absolutely right. Yeah, because yeah, the biggest issue that I have is when everything is very um like vertical.
Hmm.
Like the unlocks are all vertical. Like I think there was one that I clicked out of really quick. It was this like card roguelike which was called Banner's Ruin
Hmm.
or something.
Hmm.
And yeah, basically like you would unlock stuff, as you played, like leveling up or something like that. It
Hmm.
would gain you like a new thing.
Hmm.
And yeah, that's not the way to do it. You're right. That I didn't see that I didn't think about that before, but that's exactly why Sworn system works so well. Is because you can opt to decide what you want to work towards.
Hmm.
As there are some stuff that you need to um kind of play the game further to gain access to, but
Hmm.
for the most part there's a lot of stuff kind of like thrown at you from the beginning, and you choose what you deem is most important or
Hmm.
what you want to use for your builds. Yeah, that's a really good point.
Mm. Just to finish this one off,
Okay.
there have been so many roguelites that have come, very similar ones, and whether Hades came first or not is irrelevant. Just it's unfortunate that because that is the most successful one, I think a lot of people are going to draw similarities to it. But for me
Right.
personally, like Sworn is one of the most memorable roguelites. Certainly because I did play
Mhm.
it with friends, that would be one thing. But just because of all the stuff we touched on, it's really good. So if I mean, for people who skipped Humble Choice, maybe add this one to your wish list because I do think it's if you like roguelites, if you like that whole isometric action style of game, this is a good one to pick up.
Right. And that was one thing that I failed to mention, I think, is the multiplayer aspect. That I think is maybe overlooked by some because they immediately pass it off as a Hades clone.
Hmm.
But I mean, if you ever wanted to play Hades with someone else, well, there you go.
Yeah, Etrian Odyssey 3 HD.
Oh boy, here we go again.
We've pretty much reviewed it in total on your videos three times in the chat. If we add that, sorry, in our humble talk, that's six. In my
Right.
videos, I think I did one and two before I stopped doing it.
Maybe, yeah.
So
Maybe.
that's okay. So
Yeah.
that's 7 or 8 times total of what I feel is reviewing the exact same game
The
over and
pretty much
over and
pretty
over
much
again.
the same game. I mean, what is there really to say about this? I mean, one thing that surprised me with this one was that they had a sailing
Yeah.
mechanic. I was like, "Whoa, wait, this is different." Um, and I guess it did kind of make me think like, "Wait a minute, did the first two games have some other like unique kind of thing that maybe was just further along in the game and they introduced this earlier and maybe I'm not giving it a fair shake?" Um, I don't know. But I guess I mean bottom line though, the sailing is pretty much the same as the dungeon exploring. There's a
Hmm.
little bit of difference, but it's pretty much the same thing,
Hmm.
just a different aesthetic. Um, and yeah, I was talking to somebody in the comments who basically had said that they put in about that it didn't, the Etrian games didn't really appeal to them.
Hmm.
They liked dungeon crawlers, but they thought, these ones were boring.
Mm.
And I was like, yeah, that's kind of what I gathered from my own experience with it. However, playing devil's advocate, I was like, but maybe part of the reason why it's a bit boring is because like in the beginning your characters have no skills at all,
Hmm.
so it's just attack, 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 attack.
Hmm.
Um but then they were like, well, I put in actually about 3.5 hours into maybe the third one or whichever one he was talking about. I don't
Hmm.
know. But he put in 3.5 hours and they still felt that it was boring
Mm.
and felt like I'm pretty sure that should be a good mark as to whether or not like the game should be fun by three and a
I
half
think
hours
so.
in. And
Yeah.
like, yeah, no argument
Yeah.
there. You're right. The game should be fun. Like it shouldn't be the case where somebody's like advocating like, well, the game gets better at like hour 10. That's way too much time to have to put into this game. Like if I
No,
gotta
that's
wait that
too big an investment.
right. So yeah, I don't. I
Yeah.
mean, yeah, it's more map making and more dungeon crawling
Yeah.
of the Etrian Odyssey variety.
Yeah.
Um The portraits are different though. The classes are different. That was something we
Oh,
talked about last
yeah,
time.
we did, didn't we? Yep, yep.
Yeah, they're different this time around. So
I
I
thought I
was
saw
like,
some the
oh, I
same.
don't
I could be
see.
imagining stuff.
No, I'm pretty sure all the classes were different
Okay.
this time around. Yeah. So I was like, because I was like purposely trying to like look, because after we talked about that, I was like,
Yeah.
you guys use the same sprites a third game in a row. Um, no, I think they tried to go for maybe a little bit more themed one too. Like they had like a buccaneer
Yeah.
in there. They had like some shaman kind of like that kind of reminded. I think one of their skill lines was even like voodoo or
Hmm.
something. So I think they were trying to go for that sort of like piratey
Yeah.
kind of theme.
That makes sense.
Um and and they actually tried to teach players how to play the game finally.
Didn't they attempt that in the first one or two?
Did they?
No, you're
Maybe
right.
they did.
No, they
I
not
don't know.
properly. Not well. They told you about the mapping stuff. They told you,
Yes, the
yeah,
map, but I don't think they mentioned anything about like spending your skill points.
yeah.
Because I remember when I played the first one, I had like no idea, and I was like, "Wow, this is really
Oh, that's
frustrating."
right. Yeah,
And then, you know what? Maybe they. Well, no, no, no. I don't think they did.
they didn't.
Because I
You're right.
remember like I was like going through the menus,
Yeah,
and I had to go like. So normally you would think, "Oh, I have skill points, so that
yeah,
means I should go to skills."
yeah,
No, you have to go to custom.
yeah,
And then that's when I could spend the skill points.
yeah.
But this
I
time around,
remember
they were
now.
like, hey, if you want to spend your skill points, you should go and do this. And then otherwise, if you already did this, then
Mm-hmm.
just ignore this message.
Okay, so they're
And
being a
I
bit more
already
helpful.
did that. Yeah, a little bit more helpful. Um, I still don't think they told you to go and buy, like weapons and stuff
Hmm.
for your party member, which I think
Mm.
is just insane because even with the stuff that I had bought for them, I was still like seeing like, character deaths.
Yeah.
So like if they just went in there with their like basic armor and their little dagger, it's not to mention it's completely useless to some of these characters that are
Hmm.
supposed to be like back rank characters and things like
Hmm.
that. So it's like in fact they even basically say that like you can't use the shop until you complete the first mission, but you can use the shop.
So now they try to gaslight you.
Yeah, yeah, yeah. I think after you complete the first mission, like there's some like more unlocks in the shop, but it's like,
Right.
yeah, it's kind of like misleading.
Yeah.
Like you should go in there and
Yeah.
and do this the hard way. Yeah, I don't know.
Who knows? Maybe
I
they added that in the remaster that you could go in the shop. That makes no sense, though, right?
no. Yeah, it makes no sense. My guess is they come on, you're giving them too much credit. Like added in something into the game. No, they didn't do that. Not do that. Um, but yeah, I guess if you really love Etrian Odyssey, and you're probably gonna be pretty happy to get this
To get the
one. But
same game again,
yeah, to
just
get
at
the
a different
exact same
skin.
game, but with like different visuals, I guess. I guess I really want to know like what are the actual meaningful differences between these games? I I just don't understand how they make three of them. Like how it did
No,
well enough,
no idea.
right, to get three of them made.
It might not have
Um,
done amazing, or maybe the first one did all right, and they had all the stuff there, and that's okay. We have all these tools in place. Let's just make out another game, make some more money with little effort.
that's you know what? That's exactly true. Like to make the first game probably would have been the most costly for them, and then they made a second one. And then we already know they reused some of their sprites and stuff. And my
Yeah.
guess is they probably reused stuff for the third game as well. Even if they didn't reuse the character portraits, I'm
Hmm.
sure there's probably like monsters that were reused
Hmm.
or maybe 3D assets
Hmm.
that were reused. But
At the very least,
yeah,
like
you're absolutely
the
right.
entire system it has been.
Right. Oh
Yeah.
yeah, most definitely. Yeah, there was pretty much no changes there. Like if anything, maybe they stretched it a bit for the seafaring
Hmm.
section,
Hmm.
but the dungeoneering was pretty much exactly the same. Actually, I was surprised that there was that like waterfall, like when you first enter
Hmm.
into the dungeon,
Hmm.
because I was oh wow, that's maybe kind of impressive
Hmm.
on the DS to have, something like that. I mean, I know other games had, somewhat nice looking 3D graphics if I'm
Hmm.
remembering right from some of the games I played. But
For that era, yeah, I think so. Yeah.
yeah, yeah. So I guess I was kind of surprised about that and was wondering where the heck was that stuff in the other two games?
Yeah.
Maybe they were like later on in the dungeon, but that's another thing too. I'm guessing this has to be like just a thing of the world, but like all the dungeons are in like a giant tree.
Yeah.
That's got to be just like a world. Like either that or I'm giving them too much credit, and they literally just like, oh, this is an easy way to reuse everything.
I suspect that's yeah. Either that or this world just has all these like magical trees. It's like the opposite of the faraway tree where it actually goes downwards.
Yeah, yeah. But all right, well, yeah. Basically, Etrian Odyssey 3, same game as Etrian Odyssey 1 and 2. So there you have it. Bread and Fred.
Yeah, I agree exactly with your comments. I can see they've done really well making this game, but
Yeah.
the first big one is you're forced into co-op.
Well, there is a single player option,
Would you want
I
to play it
guess.
single player? That's the thing.
I think that it doesn't really make any sense to play a game like this single
No.
player, because it's all supposed to be about like the cooperation.
Yeah.
Granted, like I said, I didn't bother even trying single player because I was just like, do I do I really want to do that to myself?
Yeah.
I didn't really think that I wanted to. So yeah,
Yeah, and that's what it comes back to. I think a lot of people, just like us, they're not going to want to bother with a single player because it's designed to be cooperative.
right.
And there's some. It's pretty challenging as well. So I did it a little bit with my son.
Really?
Just like a little bit. And it's very challenging. I don't know
Yeah.
how. I think you said like you were doing it with your wife, and I was watching the
Yeah.
bit in your video, and you guys were like stuck there for a bit, just like thinking, is like, how are we going to do this, and like just planning it out.
Uh-huh.
So imagine that with a
Yeah.
7-year-old. It was very challenging, and we didn't put a lot of time into it just because of that.
Hmm.
But I do. I think it's a very charming game. I think they've. I think the devs have put a lot of thought and care into the game. Uh,
Hmm.
but if I was going to play a game with my son, we've had a lot of other co-op ones that have been a bit more family friendly, or rather like have that easier learning curve to get into. Like
Yeah.
even the biped one, that one was challenging, but it was still
Right.
kind of doable for the first few levels with him.
Right.
Whereas this one was just extremely challenging.
Right. Yeah, and it's a bit almost misleading with like how cutesy and
Yeah,
everything it is. It
yeah,
seems like it would be. When I first thought, I was like, oh, I saw that, I was like, okay, oh yeah, maybe I'll go play this with my daughter. But then, yeah, I knew like straight away once my wife and I loaded it up. There's like, oh, there is no way that I would be able to play this with her because she wouldn't have that level of coordinate. Heck, even between my wife and I,
mm,
it's kind of hard to. Um, um, Granted, we were figuring it out until we got to this one jump that we could not pass. We ended up like looking it up, and somebody like they like spun their guy around in like a full circle or something and
oh
released it at
wow,
that right time.
oh my
And we
goodness,
tried and we tried and we tried, and then after a while I just was like, no, I can't play this. I
yeah,
can't play this
it's just
anymore.
not fun
Um
anymore.
yeah. Now, like I said, because they did put in like assist options or accessibility
Mm,
options, whatever you want to call them, and had I known about those from the get-go. Now, to be completely fair, it's my own fault because right there on the screen when you start the game, it literally has a big box that says assist options. And then when you're playing the game, if you I noticed this as I was going through my footage like to make the video. I noticed there was one time when we like missed a jump or something,
hmm.
and it was like, "Hey, it looks like you're having trouble. You could turn on the assist options.
Hmm.
Check it out or something." And we completely glazed over that.
Yeah,
Like we didn't even see that. Um So yeah, like the game was trying to tell me like, hey, numbskull, we can make this easier for you, but
Yeah.
we just knuckled down and endured the pain until we were like, no, we can't do this anymore.
Yeah.
Like I said, I did go back, and I think that checkpoint system would have done wonders for me to like keep my sanity together to maybe go through the full hour. Um, but yeah, like I don't know, like they had like a couple other things. I guess I didn't really notice like these. Like first off, they had like you could pull up the other character, but we could already do that, so it feels like that was already turned on. And then there was the when they can jump, they could like they could like use their beak as a piton to like get go into a ledge.
Yeah, you said that in your
And I
video.
guess that
Yeah.
allows them to stay in there longer because they have
Yeah.
like stamina where they'll fall.
Yeah.
I didn't really see that as being that useful. Obviously, I mentioned the checkpoint thing, but then the final thing was like that infinite jump. And that's really nice, I guess. However, like I mean, like if you leave it on, then that just means that every time you try to do these jumps, you're probably going to end up accidentally using the infinite jump. Because you're just going to be like spamming the button or something
Yeah.
like that, and then
Yeah.
oh, boop, 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 you're just jumping up and up and up.
Yeah.
Um, but I don't know. I guess if you know, followed Uncle Ben's, words of wisdom, with great power comes great responsibility, then, and you used it responsibly, then maybe, if you just use it for the parts that really were really tough,
Yeah.
then maybe it would be like worthwhile to play through the game like that. But I already knew that that's not gonna be
Yeah.
me. I'm going to do these jumps like couple times. I'm gonna fail, and then I'm just gonna jump past it. At that
Oh, I'd
point,
be the same.
what's the point? What's the
Yeah.
point of playing the game?
Yeah.
Like I beat the game.
Yeah.
I, I got the achievement for it.
Yeah.
Like they even gave me the achievement. And so yeah, like I don't see myself coming back to this ever. And it's like you said, like games like Biped.
hmm
Um, there was another game we got called some years back called Fling to Finish, which was
Okay.
like a similar one. And my wife and I played those, and we were like, "Oh yeah, this is it's kind of fun." Like
Yeah.
it was never fun enough that we went back to it,
Sure.
but we weren't like you know just like, "Oh no, we are
Yeah.
never gonna do this again,"
Yeah.
or
Getting ready to yeet the controller across the room. Yeah.
yeah, yeah,
Yeah.
exactly. Like this game is just so deceptively cute.
Yeah. And
Like
that's
it
the
makes you
problem.
want to play the
Yeah.
game with how cute it is and how
Yeah.
great the pixel art is,
Yeah.
and then it just like beats you over the head.
Yeah. They should do the next Souls like that. It looks like a really cutesy game, but it's actually just
Right, right. I always thought I always had like an idea that would be cool to make. I was like, what if you did like a like a farming sim mashup with
hmm
like a Souls like
Ooh, okay.
something. I don't know how that would work, but I just like you'd go one of two ways. You either go like that super grim dark,
Yeah.
and then it has like the whole life sim stuff,
Uh-huh.
or you just go like super cutesy
Yeah.
and
Yeah.
like Stardew Valley like
Yeah.
cozy, but then like it's just absolutely brutal
Yeah.
whenever you have to fight or something.
Well, it's not quite Souls like, but Cult of the Lamb was a really good roguelike where it had like the farming side of stuff, but then you have to do
Oh,
dungeon
okay.
crawling, and it's what's the best way of explaining? It's that like really twisted, dark kind of cutesy stuff. It's so cool.
Okay, yeah. I've heard of it and I've like seen a little bit about it, but it wasn't something that immediately caught my attention. I'm assuming that will probably be something that will be a headliner one of these days
Oh, I
in
expected
Humble Choice.
in the bundles at one point. That's a great game though. That's one of the few ones that I actually did to completion.
Okay. Huh. I'll have to take a look at it then.
0 hour.
Okay. Now, yeah, so I understand their reasoning for forcing you to play the training. but I hate that. um, just because like I said, like I actually did click on the training originally, and
Mm,
I ran out of bullets. I
mm,
literally ran out of bullets that I couldn't kill any more of these dummies. And you know what? Admittedly though, when I was going through it a second time, I realized that I missed um like an area that I was supposed to turn to get myself to the final bits and then rappel up to finish the training. So I that was kind of my own my bad, I guess,
mm,
basically is what I'm trying to
mm.
say. Um but yeah, I I I didn't like that they forced me to do it because like I ended up spending maybe like 40 of the minutes out of my hour just, doing that
Oh
essentially.
wow, yeah,
So I feel like I feel like I didn't even really play the game that long
yeah.
to really say that much about it, but um I don't know. I think you would probably have maybe more things to say since you've played you've played Rainbow Six Siege, which I think is kind of similar.
Yeah,
Yeah?
it is similar. The more recent one that I played that I would liken to this is Ready or Not. But
Yeah.
I mean, but both of those games I played on PC when I actually had my PC, whereas now it's Steam Deck, and so the experience felt significantly different on the deck.
Right.
I had to dump. I'm pretty sure this is one of the games I had to dump the settings, but I could play it out of the box. But I had to dump the settings. Doing that, it ran fine. But again, like these tactical ones, they're designed to be PvP, and it's
Right.
not really the platform I'd choose to play it PvP. Like, you can do a lot with the Steam Deck, but it's more bridging the couch and the desktop computer than it is a replacement for the desktop computer.
Mhm.
So you gotta really choose the games that you play on it, and it comes back to that whole RTS thing as well. This one, 0 hour tactical games in general. Sorry, like tactical first person shooters, probably not. Like I know a lot of people do play Rainbow Six Siege on console, that kind of thing.
Yeah.
But because you're on Steam, you're at a disadvantage because it's not console versus console. Essentially console versus PC, and of course the PC players are going to have
Right.
that
Right.
slight edge against you. So I don't think it's viable. This one also, like, I'd like to think that I'm somewhat aware of the tactics genre, just because even though like I'm not huge with them, just because a lot of my gaming friends are, and
Mhm.
certainly they will talk about them. I'll say, hey, like if if we ever get the squad back together, this would be a good one to do. Whereas this one went completely under the radar for me, and I suspect for them as well. And I think it's just because it's doing a lot of the stuff that Siege and even like Ready or Not are doing. Mind you, Ready or Not is more uh, PVE.
Oh, really?
Yeah,
That was one thing I was going to ask. Okay.
yeah, that is really cool. It's kind of hard to explain, but I'd say it's like a really gritty co-op versus AI game. At least I don't think
Okay.
it has PvP. It might have PvP. But we always played it co-op, and like what are the? There's a few. There's like I think there was like hostage situation, that kind of thing. There's also
Mhm.
like going into drug dens essentially, like busting guys, finding evidence, that kind of stuff. But
Mhm.
it's pretty unforgiving, like extremely unforgiving. I've played Siege, and that can feel like unforgiving at times. This is like one slip up and you're done. But because it's
Oh, wow.
it's three guys versus an entire map of these drug what's the best way, like a drug cartel basically. Um,
Yeah, yeah.
yeah, and so of course it's if it's going for realism, it's going to do that, but it's a really cool experience. And so compared to experiences like that, like Siege, where you've got even though it's old now, I think it's still got some of the best PvP tactics. And then also to a game like Ready or Not, where it's very realistic, working together as a team, being very methodical, just being on comms the whole time. And then this, like, granted, I was playing it by myself, so it's a very different experience, but I don't think this quite stands up to those ones, which is why we now see it in a bundle because it hasn't done as well.
Right. I mean, like the player base on, I think Steam charts are saying like 100, less than 100
Yeah,
players in
doesn't
the
surprise
last
me.
24 hours.
Yep.
So, um, yeah, I think that the fact that they allow you to, play solo is probably like one of the things that kind of like props us up a bit.
Hmm.
Because like, we get so many you know what, to be fair, we haven't gotten it so much
You're
recently.
right. Yeah.
But when I first started doing these, we would just get like basically dead multiplayer games that they just chuck them in the bundle to hopefully get like a little last
Hmm.
hurrah out of it
Yeah.
before it's just done. Um, but yeah, I had thought as much because like I knew that Rainbow Six Siege was PvP and of course very popular, and I've been hearing a lot more about Ready or Not, so I had assumed that both of those games would be the games to play
Mm.
um over this one. Now I didn't know that Ready or Not had PvE because that was one thing that I was wondering, like, does 0 Hour like stand apart because it offers PvE, but apparently not.
Mm.
If Ready or Not does. Now I don't think that Rainbow Six Siege has PvE though, correct? Or am I wrong
It
about that?
does. It's just not a viable
Oh.
PvE. It's
Oh, I see. So it's kind of like just like dumb bots or something.
Yeah, that's exactly what it is. I don't remember the name of it, but it's not that good.
Okay, yeah. Just enough for people to get their feet wet
Yeah,
until they start doing the real thing.
yeah, and
Yeah.
start
Okay.
working together as a team, kind of thing. That kind of thing. But it's set up very well. It's dumb bots.
Yeah, okay. I was kind of wondering because like a game like this seems very like complicated for like bots to like operate effectively. How are they in Ready or Not? I mean, I guess if Ready or Not is mainly PvE, I imagine they have to be pretty competent then.
It's really good.
Okay.
They went all in on the realism for this. That includes like all the breaching stuff, and all
Okay.
the gunplay, that kind of stuff, but also for how the bots react to situations. Sometimes they'll just come up and check a door, I think, for the sake of it, because they think, they
Oh,
could
okay.
be coming in, or just like stuff like that. I think, from mind you, this is going back about 2 years, I think, when I played it. But
Right.
I was very impressed with it.
Okay. Yeah, one thing that I was pretty kind of disappointed about, because this is all about like, squad, tactical breaching, stuff like
Mm,
that. And they throw you in with an AI squad playing solo, but
mm,
I don't know what your experience was, but I thought that the AI squad mates were really dumb.
yeah,
Like they didn't really do anything.
no,
Like I said in my video, the one time was I I jumped in through like the second floor,
yeah,
and then I end up dying.
hmm,
And I respawn as one of my other squad mates, and I to find that they're all still standing outside the door on the first floor,
gee,
I guess waiting to be let in. I was like, wow. I just was kind of surprised about that. And that there didn't seem to be any like squad commands. Um like I was thinking of it was a different Tom Clancy game that I have. I think it literally is called like Rainbow Six or
there
something
was a
like
whole
that.
bunch. There was I can think of three in the series from memory. There was like a really like late '90s one, and then like a mid 2000s one. You might be thinking of the mid 2000s.
Okay. Oh, I've no idea what one it is, but it's called Rainbow Six Vegas 2.
Okay, yeah,
So, but I remember that one. That one had like you could like, have people, when you're about to like breach through a door, you could have them like ready on both sides of the
yeah,
door
yeah,
and things like
yeah.
that. And I was like, where's any of my squad commands so that you guys could actually help me out with this? But yeah, there didn't seem to be any of that as far as I could tell. I mean,
Hmm.
maybe I missed something, but I don't think so.
I couldn't find it
Um,
either.
Primarily because I expect that they figured you're gonna be playing it with your buddies or something like that.
Yeah,
So,
yeah.
Smalland Survive the Wild.
So as soon as I saw this in there, I was like, "Oh, it's the other Grounded game." Because,
Yeah, yeah.
yeah, no, yeah, yeah. You're right. It's. I feel like Grounded came out first, and then this one as well. And I think you said it as well. Like, mind you, I haven't played any of Grounded, and I certainly hadn't
Okay.
played this before. But I from what I gather, like it does seem like there is enough of a difference between Grounded and this. I mean, you might have to correct me because I only have this, very brief time that I had my less than 1 hour on this one. But I don't feel like it was that impressive. It just felt like your typical survival game. The fact that you were small was just like, okay, you're small now. Did you put a lot of time into Grounded, and did you prefer it to this game?
Yeah, so I was thinking a lot about, so like I said, when I came across Smalland before Grounded, and I'm fairly certain it was like announced or talked about before Grounded was a
Okay.
thing.
Yeah, wow.
So the premise of it, I was really excited about,
Mm-hmm.
like being small, and that seems really cool. Um, However, upon actually finally being able to play it, yeah, I do agree. It feels very survival game esque. Like it's the setting that's going to have to do it for people as to
Mm-hmm.
whether or not they want to play this game or not, because it is very by the numbers
Mm-hmm.
when it comes to survival game. And as far as which one I preferred, well, I have put in a lot of time into Grounded, the original one, not I never played the second one,
Mm-hmm.
so I can't really say. But I feel that I probably, I don't know, even if I spent more time in Smalland, I probably would still be walking away and saying that Grounded feels better
Mm-hmm.
to play
Makes sense.
um than Smalland. I just thought that like Smalland, it felt a little bit rough.
Mm-hmm.
I don't know, like the combat. No, I wouldn't say that Grounded has like amazing combat, but I feel like it's better than what Smalland has. Um but Smalland has other things that I think are, kind of interesting. And once again, its setting, with these like little people. I think
Mm-hmm.
now I don't think this is really the case anymore, because I'm fairly certain that Grounded 2 allows you to have mounts, but at the time that was kind of a thing going for Smalland, was that you could have mounts, whereas Grounded, you can't do that.
Mm-hmm.
Um, and I think there's actually more variety in the uh like the animals that you see, I think, in Smalland. Like there's definitely like a lot of insects and stuff, but I think you see things like birds. I think maybe like a snake or something like
Okay.
that. I could be wrong about that. I could just be making things up. But I was fairly certain that there was like other types of like small animals. Now, once again, I think Grounded 2, in their latest trailer that they released for one of these updates, I think it kind of like teased like a snake or something like
Okay.
that. So, it,
Mm-hmm.
but I don't know. Yeah, I I don't know. Yeah, I think that I think I would probably say at the end of the day, Grounded is probably the better game,
Yeah.
right? And like I said, there's in my review, it's like there's no way that it can't not be compared to Grounded.
Mm-hmm.
Even if it was the first, like, um to be kind of like conceived, it wasn't the
Yeah.
first one to come out.
Yeah.
Um I think maybe had it been able to come out sooner, it probably would have had a bit more traction.
Mm-hmm.
But but then again, I don't know. I mean,
Yeah.
Grounded's made by Obsidian, so it's like, how do you,
Yeah.
how would you compete with
Yeah.
that, right?
I mean, it's funny you mentioned like one that was conceived first, and then one that just outperformed the other one, and then it's the one that everyone thinks of. That's what happened with Pokemon and Digimon. Digimon was actually thought of
Right.
first, came out even actually came out first before Pokemon, but it just
Okay.
didn't catch on. Certainly not in the West, and even in Japan, like Pokemon just caught on harder.
Yeah. 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 To be honest, it wasn't until I came to Japan that I realized that Digimon was still a thing. I didn't know that I didn't know that it was. Like that it was still continued past like the 90s TV
Oh,
show that
really?
I watched as
Yeah,
a
I didn't
kid.
realize
I
that.
did not
Okay,
know that.
there you go.
Yeah, yeah, like they make like video games and stuff for it, and
See,
I
that I
guess there's
did
been
know.
other shows.
Okay, I didn't know about the other
Yeah.
shows. Yeah, there you go. Personally, I did prefer, at least if we're talking like the original series or two, I did personally prefer Digimon over Pokemon. But
Oh yeah. Hands down.
yes,
Yeah,
yes.
no, no, no,
See,
no.
I knew there
Yeah,
was a good
hands
reason we're
down.
friends.
You know, the other thing was though is um I never had cable growing up, so I never got to see Pokemon. I only ever got to see Digimon
Yeah,
because that
right.
was
Okay.
on on like a public station
Yeah.
that we had access. So that's probably another reason why. But yeah,
For us, they were both on morning cartoons. I don't know if it was the
okay.
same time. It might not have been the same time, but it must have been very similar times. But yeah, growing up with three boys, all of us hands down preferred Digimon.
And Digimon was like, it felt more realistic to me. I mean, the whole premise of it is kind of
Oh,
ridiculous,
sure,
but
but
it,
yeah,
yeah, compared to Pokemon, yeah,
yeah.
definitely.
If that could happen, then oh yeah, that would be likely what would happen, kind of thing. Yeah,
Right,
yeah,
exactly. Yeah,
yeah.
yeah.
Hard West 2.
I found this one funny because we were literally talking about these types of games,
Yeah.
like this genre, or not like the Weird West
Yeah,
kind of
yeah,
genre. We were talking about that like a month ago. I don't know why we were talking about it, but somehow we got on talking about it.
yeah,
And you had mentioned Hard West, and then all of a
yeah.
sudden we got
Hard
Hard
West
West
2.
too.
The humble gods have answered my prayers. Yeah.
Right.
So, do you play like a lot of strategy games or like these turn-based XCOM style ones?
Now, okay. Now the question is, do I play a lot of them? Unfortunately, no. Do I love them? Yes.
Okay.
Like
Okay.
I like these like turn-based strategy. I always prefer turn-based strategy over real-time
Yeah.
strategy like any day of the week.
Yeah.
And when it comes down to these sort of like tactical ones, yeah, I really quite enjoy them.
Mm.
I played like a lot of XCOM Enemy Unknown
Mm-hmm.
way back when. Um and yeah, I this one seemed pretty good to me,
Mm.
so I quite enjoyed it.
Yeah, nice.
Uh,
Yeah, no, I am I'm the same. I would take turn-based any day of the week over real time. Um, yeah, this one played really well. I so I think this one they came out the gates just gunning for it. They did so well in their presentation of that whole tutorial stuff. So
yeah.
I think a lot of games they're like, well, let's save like the best like thematic not thematic levels, but like the WoW levels for a little bit down, like maybe third or fourth mission, that kind of thing. And nah, these guys like the first one tutorial, it's all moving. You got the guys on the horse trying to get on the train there, and it was because mechanically it is absolutely no different. It makes no difference because you've still got people moving on a grid. It's just visually it looks different, and it's thematically really cool to have these bad cowboys trying to hijack a train or rob a train, and so right, let's chuck them in, and that's what everyone wants to do if they're going to be on the wrong side of the law as a cowboy, and they do that as the tutorial
Right.
mission. It's really cool.
Right. Yeah, I thought that was pretty neat too. Like I didn't expect them to have us start moving while still on horseback. I
Mm,
figured everybody was gonna, they're all gonna jump on to the end of the train,
yeah.
just like like you always see in movies and
Yep.
stuff like
It
that.
would have
But
been
no,
easier.
yeah, that
Yeah.
was pretty cool.
Yeah.
Yeah, like I said, I thought it was pretty cool. And I mean this whole setting is relatively fresh in my opinion. Like I don't think it's like overdone, so I definitely welcome a sort of like spooky western theme. I think mechanically though, I think that's where I thought I had like the most fun with the bravado
Yeah.
mechanic. Like that was just so satisfying to just like line up like shot after shot after
Mm-hmm.
shot, like refreshing their action
Mm-hmm.
points. Um
That and also the luck. If you get hit or you miss, it's like, well, then you've got more chance of stuff going your way next
oh
time.
yeah, I
Yeah.
I didn't mention that, and yes. Yeah, that was actually pretty cool cuz that kind of gets away from the whole oh, you have a 99% chance of hitting and then you miss kind of thing. It's like, well, if you miss and you get luck, that ensures that you're gonna hit it the next time.
Mm.
Basically. And I that's pretty smart of them to do. To kind of like, wrench back a little bit of that the tactical choice
Mm-hmm.
rather than it being decided by, RNG gods.
Mm-hmm.
Yeah, that was pretty fun. I I definitely think it would be quite interesting too, like seeing later on how their various different like supernatural abilities
Mm.
develop. I uh I wanted to use the one because I only got to like the I only got to like the second fight, basically.
In the
Like you got the
courtyard area?
train and then that
Yeah, yeah,
courtyard
yeah.
area.
Like the same. Yep.
So I didn't get any further than that, but I was like just thinking like, oh man, how cool would it be to, um, like after that fight was over, even though I didn't really play it for much longer to get into a third fight, I equipped the rifle onto the lady since she could like switch places, and it's like, well, that would have been really cool if she had the rifle because then she could have been like just sniping people from up
Yeah.
above.
See, I put the shotgun on her because the tutorial had the shotgun on her then as well.
Same.
Yeah.
I did the exact same thing, yeah. And then I realized, wow, this is useless.
Yeah.
But yeah, so
I also really like how, of course, you got the one part of the game, one part of the loop is that whole combat XCOM style of turn based, but then you've got
mhm.
the RPG like open world kind of stuff as well.
Yeah.
That was really fun having those two aspects to the game to really spice things up and keep it interesting for the player.
I appreciated that it was a bit more tactile, too. Like you actually could, you were the one moving them around the map and
Hmm.
interacting with things. um versus I feel like especially with like going back to like roguelikes, which this isn't, but I just am thinking of like those maps where you just click on like, oh, go here kind of thing. I mean, even to like an extent that was how it was in like XCOM, right? Like you
Hmm.
just have like the globe that spins around when you pass time,
Yeah.
and then you just choose the location and
Yeah.
then boom, you're there.
Yeah.
um so yeah, I definitely like that. I was actually a bit surprised to see um the little like narrative bits
Mm.
that you would read and get a little bit more
Yeah.
out of it. It felt more I guess like RPG like to me,
Yeah. Definitely.
with those aspects of the game.
I felt the same way too. Yeah. And it definitely does, like your choices looking at it, it does impact some stuff for who takes damage, who gets rewards, kind of stuff. But then also was it loyalty? Something like that, where the different members of your gang, how much they like you, how much of a bond you build with them. So it's,
Oh yeah,
yeah.
that's right. Yeah, depending on things you choose.
Yeah.
I forgot about that. Yeah.
So it
Yeah.
definitely appeals to that RPG side of me. Certainly my like of RPG games.
Yeah. Have you played did you play the first one at
No, no,
all?
I didn't. I kind of want to now, actually.
Yeah, I sort of want to as well because I'm just that kind of person. Like
Mm.
I want to play the games in order.
Hmm.
I was however, well, I mean, the one thing is I didn't feel like I needed to play it
No.
though.
Yeah.
Like I didn't feel lost at
Yeah.
all. Um I was sort of wondering if maybe part of that was because I was looking this up after the fact,
Hmm.
and Hard West 1 had a different developer
Okay.
than Hard West 2. So I'm sort of wondering if maybe that was part of it. It actually made me wonder like how how similar in like I know that it is a like a tactical
Hmm.
turn-based combat game, but I wonder like how similar the um feel of the game is compared to Hard West 2,
Hmm.
I guess.
Yeah. No, I'd have to check it out. I see. I didn't realize it was a different developer, so that's kind of put me off a little bit. But I think I'll do a proper comparison. Look at some YouTube videos, and then it's worth getting number one as well.
Yeah,
Because I'm same as you. I would love to play the first one, even though you're right. It does not require at all having played the first one. I still would like to play it and see what the first one was about.
yeah. The one thing that is going for it though is that like I've had it on my wish list forever, and I
Hmm.
see it go on sale every now and then, and it
Mm.
goes on sale like super cheap, like
Yeah.
$2.50 or something
Yeah, it's
kind of
good.
cheap.
Yeah.
So I just never picked it up because like I'm always like I have so many other games.
Yeah.
But for $2.50, I'm not
250.
really losing anything
Yeah.
if I don't care for it.
Yep.
So, and now that I own the second one, I pretty much have to own the first one
Oh,
now.
gotta catch them all.
Got to catch them all, yeah. Add more to my virtual library of games that I will never play.
Oh, I forgot to mention, for this one, I did have to do some tinkering because this one is officially unsupported. A lot of people I saw from like ProtonDB playing it on Steam Deck. If they tried it with just the default Proton version that Steam runs, or the Steam Deck runs rather, then it might freeze up on the tutorial boss, or they have other issues. Whereas I used, it's not the most recent version, but it's the most recent version that I had installed on my Steam Deck of GE Proton. Game ran flawlessly, like perfect. To the point where I was surprised that I mean, obviously, like the default version of Proton's not running, that's why. But to me, it did not feel like an unsupported game at all.
Okay, that's a little bit surprising. Yeah, I had forgot to mention this when we were talking about Smalland, because I was going to ask if the one game that you were, when we started this talk, if the one game that gave you issues was Smalland, because of the fact that I thought that it was optimized kind of poorly on PC. Like I got it working a bit smoothly, so I thought for sure you were going to tell me like, yeah, I had to like tinker around with the deck in order to get it working properly.
No.
But no,
No dark magic for that one.
Too.
No, it was that one's playable by default, but I mean personally, I just dumped all the quality settings to get it running as best as possible. But no, Hard West, like to the point where Hard West 2, I was like so surprised at how well it was running just by literally changing over the Proton version to the community-based GE Proton one. That's it for this month's episode of Humble Talk. If you've gotten to this point in the video and you haven't done it already, what are you doing? Go and hit that like button and subscribe. If you want to watch more videos on games for PC, then go check out Stealthy Shiroean's channel. If you want to watch more videos for Steam Deck, then make sure to search for DeckusHeadus. That's my channel. Whether you're specced out or decked out, keep it humble.